Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Q&A Wednesday with Jlopezmd. Tonight's topic could be the causes of aging and what you can do about it. And so, first off, I would like to welcome everybody for joining in our first episode of this show. And I would like to say hello to my friends and family over in the States, my clients, hello to all of you. And of course, my friends, family, and clients here also in the Philippines. Thank you for attending tonight's first show. Um, so, without further ado, I would like to welcome our host for this evening. She's a TV show host as well as a vlogger. Her show on CNN is called I Heart PH. So let's all welcome Miss Valerie Tan.
Hello! Hi,
Hi,
Doc.
Valerie. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much for inviting me in your first ever Q&A Wednesday Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And I also want to say hi to all the viewers out there. This is such an exciting topic. Di ko nga alam ba't mo ko in-invite. It's about aging. So, I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult. Ako yung in-invite mo. Just kidding. But I'm very excited to be here.
Well, you're a great host. That's why we invited you to this show. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And also for everyone watching, they can ask questions, diba? So not only will I be asking questions, everyone can also write it down. And then this is a rare opportunity for Doc Joel Lopez to answer our questions, diba? So let's take advantage of it.
Thanks, Valerie. So basically, we're going to discuss about aging tonight. So aging is described by Webster, Mr. Webster of the dictionary, as a progressive deterioration of form and function leading to death. It's a very morbid description, but it doesn't have
Mm.
to be that way. And it's also important to know that two kinds of ages. I guess most people know this, but we all focus on chronological aging, which is basically the number of candles we have in our birthday cake. But what's more important is your biological age. So your biological age is basically how your cells, tissues, organs, and systems are functioning at the molecular level. That's what's more important than your chronological age. Yeah.
So
So
Doc, pwedeng for example, you're 20 years old but your biological age is like 30 years old, ganun?
yeah, that's possible.
And vice versa, pwede rin.
Exactly. And there are ways to measure it now. Yeah, there are ways to measure your biological age. Most people have older biological ages than their chronological age. And this because of a lot of factors.
Like what factors makes you age faster?
Yeah, there are different causes of aging. But first off, before I discuss that, there are a lot of signs and symptoms associated with aging. Like, for instance, wrinkles, arthritis, hypertension, all the diseases of mid-age, middle age.
Yes.
So basically, in a conventional practice, we treat this with drugs, basically. We treat symptoms with medications. Like, for instance, if a person has headaches, you get Tylenol. If a person has hypertension, you get antihypertensive meds. But in our kind of practice, we actually treat the underlying cause or causes of illness or aging in general. Like, for instance, pag wrinkles, it's possible that it could be a deficiency in certain vitamins. And most people don't know that.
I didn't know that too. So, akala ko wrinkles unavoidable na siya. But you're saying if you treat it with certain vitamins, you can avoid it.
Yeah, you could actually reverse it or even slow it down from happening. Like, for
Oh, ano
instance,
yun?
vitamin
Ano
C.
yung mga vitamins na yun, Doc? Kailangan ko yan.
Yeah, the vitamin C is actually a precursor to your collagen molecule. So if a person
Mm.
is deficient in vitamin C, they won't make enough collagen, and that could actually lead to wrinkles. And then if you're eating a lot of sugar, it could actually cause something, a process called glycation or which leads to something called AGEs or AGEs, stands for advanced glycosylation end products. So basically, if you eat a lot of sugar, it'll make you age faster. The sugar molecule would attach to certain proteins, and that would cause these proteins to become stiff. So, for instance, if sugar attaches to your collagen in your skin, it could cause wrinkles. If it attaches to, let's say, the protein in your eye, it could cause cataracts, and so on and so forth. So, too much sugar could actually cause us to age faster.
Ako, yun pa naman yung culprit ko. I mean, I love to eat
Mhm.
desserts throughout the years
Yeah.
for, so siguro hindi ko napapansin kaya I mean,
Mhm.
I noticed nga I have more wrinkles than my peers. Actually, when I was
Yeah.
only in my mid-20s, may wrinkles na ako, may ano na ako dito sa eyes. So maybe it's because also, maybe genetics or maybe also because of
Mhm.
the sugar intake, no?
Yes. Yes. And actually, the skin is one of the organs that actually ages um, initially in the process. So by the mid 20s, our skin begins to age. And of course, other
Mm.
organs age at certain um, years. Like, for instance, vision begins to decline at the age of 40. Brain and lung function, it begins to decline at the age of 20, that early. And then
Brain?
other brain, yeah.
20, wow. Bilis pala.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, mabilis. Then by 40, heart function begins to decline. And
Mm.
actually, one of the slowest functions to decline is your voice. Your voice ages by the age of 65. That's why when you're talking to someone on the phone, you can't tell how old they are. It's because it's one of the things that slows down like later in life.
Interesting, ah. Pero oo nga,
Yes.
no, when you're
So,
like older, parang medyo hoarse na, no? Yung parang
yeah,
medyo paos na, yun yun. Yun yung
yeah,
aging for voice.
to the voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oo. Pero that's correct, no? Kasi parang the first signs of aging is really the physical. Kasi yun yung nakikita mo eh.
Yeah.
And then,
Uh,
minsan feeling mo, ano, I still feel young. But when you look at the mirror or when you look at your photos, parang, oh, parang ang tanda ko na pala, no? You
mhm.
don't really notice it unless you really observe.
Yes, exactly. And that's why it's really important to know the actual different causes of aging so you can actually know what to do about it. Like, for instance, one of the causes of aging is one of the theories behind aging is the free radical theory of aging. So basically, free radicals are unstable molecules that have an unpaired electron. It's really unstable. So what it does is that it steals electron from your cells, causing damage to
Mm.
these normal cells. So what you can do about it is take antioxidants. And most people don't take antioxidants, unfortunately. Yeah,
What are the
ideally,
examples? What are the examples
yeah,
of antioxidants?
yeah, antioxidants like vitamin C, for instance. Ideally, we should get these antioxidants from food. But because of farming practices, we end up with a lot of nutritional deficiencies. So nowadays, besides eating properly, you actually need to take supplements.
So ideally, dapat lahat ng nutrients you get it from food. But if
From
you
food,
don't,
ideally.
then you supplement it.
Yes, exactly.
Tama? Okay,
But
okay.
even if you ate 100% organic nowadays, you still may end up with nutritional deficiencies. So I would still recommend taking supplements, even if you have a good diet.
Siyempre, Doc, ano siya, di ba? It's case-to-case basis, di ba? You can't really
Yeah,
diagnose naman in general. Pero
yeah.
on a
Mhm.
broader perspective or on average, ano yung mga supplements na dapat meron ang isang adult?
Yeah, ideally, at least take a good multivitamin, usually with iron for women who are still menstruating, because you lose a lot of iron in the blood with your regular menses. But after when you go into menopause, and for men in general, ideally a multivitamin without iron, because if you have too much iron, it actually causes premature aging. If you got too much iron,
Mm,
it's like we're beginning to rust. And
okay.
yeah,
So, too
yeah,
much of one thing, hindi rin okay, di ba? Like, if you take too
yes,
much,
exactly.
it masama rin siya. That's why the best way is really to consult a doctor like you, di ba? Para alam mo kung ano talaga yung dosage perfect
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're all different. So we don't do like what do you call a cookie cutter approach. We don't do that. We don't do a one size fits all approach. So what we want to do is individualized treatment because everybody's different. Our genetics are different. Our stress levels are different. What we eat, they're all different.
Mm. You mentioned a
So
while ago, yung merong test na paano malalaman yung biological age.
yeah,
Like, I'm curious
so
about that.
that's
Paano nga ba?
yeah, that's actually available at the office. So next time you come in, we should do that for you.
Hopefully, no,
And it
I'm
takes a
younger
long
than my hopefully I'm younger than my chronological age. Pero usually ba
time.
for you to be healthy, dapat it's just younger than your
Ideally,
chronological
your
age.
biological age should be younger.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So going back to your question, so aside from a multivitamin, I would recommend an omega-3 fatty acid supplement because
Mm-hmm.
again, one of the causes of aging or the chronic diseases of aging is chronic inflammation. So we're getting a lot of pro-inflammatory input, like from our diet. If you eat a lot of meat, that would cause a lot of inflammation. Of course, stress causes inflammation as well. So taking omega-3 fatty acids would be helpful to calm the inflammation. So that
Mm.
one and a good probiotic as well, because we really need to take care of our gut. A lot of illnesses actually start from our gut. So it's really important to take a good probiotic as well. So
Oh,
at least
pero
those are
Doc,
the top ones.
so those three, no, that you mentioned, ulitin natin, the
Yeah,
multivitamin, omega-3, and then
three
the probiotic. Oo.
probiotic.
But I also read that the time you drink your vitamin or your supplements matters also.
Yeah,
Tama ba yun?
that's true. Yeah, some of the supplements need to be taken on an empty stomach. Like for instance, your probiotics have to be taken on an empty stomach because the probiotics are sensitive to the acid in your stomach. So if you take it with food, it could actually get destroyed in that acid environment. So that's why there are probiotics that are enteric coated. So if you
Mm.
take that with food, it won't be digested or it won't be harmed by the acid pH in your stomach. Then certain foods naman or certain supplements have to be taken with meals or after meals because it's better absorbed after meals, like your fat soluble vitamins, which are basically vitamins A, D, E, and K. Those are best taken after meals for better absorption.
And how about the omega-3?
Yeah, same thing with the omega-3 because it's oil based. It's better to take it after meals as well. It's
Ah,
better
okay,
absorbed
okay.
that way. Yeah.
Mm. Yung ano, curious na ako doon sa probiotic kasi I see a lot of yung mga may 10 billion, may 50
Yeah.
billion. Ano bang tama? Maybe I'm drinking too much, so meron akong binili 50 billion. Is that okay?
Yeah, it may be okay, but it also depends on the preparation. Because by the time it reaches the consumer, probably only half of the probiotics may be viable. And then after you open the container, ideally you need to refrigerate it, this probiotics, because
Mm.
otherwise it could spoil easily. Same
Ah,
thing with the
okay, okay.
omega-3 fatty acids. Kailangan i-refrigerate yon kasi it becomes rancid easily. Parang napapanis siya agad.
Mm. Yeah, Doc, I just wanna share yung personal
Yeah,
experience ko with the supplements to the viewers. Kasi 'di ba,
sige.
I started going to you, Doc, mga last year, 1 year na
Yeah.
siguro. And then at that time, I was complaining, lagi ako lethargic, lagi akong pagod, 'di ba? And
Mhm.
then you asked me to take some tests para we can figure out yung levels ko ng micronutrients sa katawan. And then we found out marami akong deficiencies. And then you
Mhm.
asked me to take mga supplements na specific for my body. I've been taking it for a year now and I feel honestly talaga I'm more energetic. I live parang a quality life kasi hindi yung 6 p.m. pagod na ako. Now, tinan mo,
Yeah.
I have energy. So, thank you, Doc. Totoo talaga.
You're
I
welcome.
really didn't believe it that much before kasi nisip ko, really? Supplements?
Mhm.
Pero, nung tinake mo consistently, it matters talaga. Ang laking difference. So, thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. Yeah, so Actually, we take nutrition for granted, but actually, if you look at what's going on at the cellular level, it's all nutrients. If you go to the mitochondria, what do you see there? It's all nutrients. You don't see medications at the cellular level. So we really need to pay attention to what we eat, what we put into our mouth, because that would
Mm.
ultimately affect how we feel, how we age, and how we experience life in general.
Mm. Yung sa akin kasi parang at least it was able to parang quote unquote save me. Pero paano kung it's too late na? Like you're really sick na. Kaya pa ba yan with mga supplements to slow
Yeah,
down the disease?
Yeah, if it's a little bit too late in the process, you could still get nutrients, but this time we may recommend it through intravenous route. Yeah, because sometimes if a person has gut problems, if they have problems with absorption, they may not get enough of the nutrients from the food. So that's why we may recommend intravenous um, nutrition, and that would be tailored according to your needs as well.
Mm. So it's better to prevent, 'di ba? Better to
Yeah.
prevent talaga. I mean, you invest in your health. Wag niyo isipin na, nako, mahal yung supplements, mahal yung probiotics, or mahal yung consultation. No, actually, you're saving yourself from worries and costs in the
Mm.
future.
Yeah, and consider it as an investment in yourself. Yeah, because
Mm.
a lot of people they save a lot of money only to spend most of it during the last few years in their lives, paying for hospitalization or paying for medications. Why don't you spend it wisely and just use it to get enough supplements or to eat properly? Uh, and the purpose of that is to prevent diseases later on in your senior years. That,
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. So, Doc, may iba pa ba kayong tips pwede i-share sa viewers natin on how they can slow down or delay aging?
yeah, another cause of aging is hormonal imbalance or the neuroendocrine theory of aging. So basically, as we age, our hormones begin to decline. So hormones that are responsible for building tissues, like for instance, testosterone in men, estrogen in women, growth hormone in both sexes, and then also there's a decline din naman in hormones that are responsible for your immune system, like yung DHEA. So these are the things that go on at the hormonal level. So it's really important to address those issues. Kung may hormonal imbalance, we try to correct it using natural hormone replacement therapy.
So yun yung pagka kunyari, like yung my issue, no, yung lethargic ako, you actually figured out na may problem din sa hormone ko. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember it na parang hindi
Mm.
siya nagpo-produce ng enough hormone. And I didn't even realize na posible pala yun at my age. Kasi, I mean, I'm relatively young compared to other people. I thought it would come around pag medyo later in age na. Pero pag bata, meron din.
Yeah, we see it in younger people nowadays. Even let's say yung mga teens who have dysmenorrhea, these actually are symptoms of hormonal imbalance. This could be due to lack of progesterone. This happens because we get a lot of estrogen from the environment, like for instance, our food, especially yung commercial meat, they could be injected with hormones. So this could cause hormonal imbalances, leading to things like dysmenorrhea, PMS in women. Tapos for guys naman, sometimes hair loss could be experienced sometimes in the late teens pa lang that begins to
Mm,
happen. Yeah, that could be due
mm,
to hormonal imbalance or even a mineral deficiency.
mm.
Yeah.
Kahit anong ingat mo, no, parang the lifestyle na rin and the modern world na rin, no, parang mahirap na rin iwasan yung ibang mga quote-unquote sins and then it's actually harmful for your body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, if there are hormonal imbalances, we correct it using natural hormones. These are basically plant-based. We call them bioidentical because they're similar to what our bodies produce. And they may come in cream forms besides oral forms or injectables. And the hormones are basically tailored according to what your body needs. So your dose, for instance, would be different from someone else's. someone else who had the same problem.
Mm. May side effects ba yun, Doc?
Yeah, may side effects then. So that's why it's really important to work with a doctor who's trained in longevity medicine. Normally, we start at a low dose for certain hormones because pag binigla mo, pag mataas agad yung dose, people would experience side effects. Because there are some
Mm,
clients who want like, oh, doc, gusto ko yung mataas na dose, but we can't do that. Sometimes if you start on a high dose, side effects ka agad. Like for instance, the women who are given estrogen, if they get too much of it, they get breast tenderness. So mas medyo,
okay.
medyo sensitive or tender yung kanilang breast if they get too much estrogen.
Okay, so you mentioned some of the causes of aging na may iba pa ba, Doc, that you want to
Yeah,
add?
yeah, actually, actually, madami pa. I did mention about the glycation theory of aging earlier. That's when you eat too much sugar. It would actually attach to certain protein molecules in the body, making them ineffective. Like for instance, if it attaches to collagen, it could cause wrinkles. Same thing, this sugar could attach to your elastin, making your skin sag if you're eating too much sugar. Again, it could also attach to certain enzymes in your body. It could also attach to certain hormones. So it makes the protein molecules dysfunctional. Yes,
Mm.
so
Alam mo,
that's one
Doc,
cause.
yan na yung dahilan bakit ako titigil sa sugar. Hindi dahil sa belly fat, kundi dahil sa aging. Yan ang dahilan. Okay, continue, Doc.
Yeah, there's another cause called the telomere theory of aging. So basically, telomeres are what we call junk DNA. They're they're at the ends of your chromosomes. What it does is that it protects your real DNA. So as our cells divide or DNA replication happens, what happens is that this telomeres they begin to shorten until such a time nawala ng telomeres. And when that happens, the cells begin to age and die. So
Mm.
there are things that you could do to prolong the existence of your telomeres. Like for instance, taking certain nutrients like resveratrol. You've heard of resveratrol, right?
Yeah. I've heard of it. Oo. Nakikita ko
Yeah,
rin siya sa mga stores. Yeah.
yeah. It's something that comes from red wine. Actually, it's a bioflavonoid polyphenol found in grapes. So when you have it like when you moderate drinkers are actually able to live longer than non-drinkers, supposedly.
Red wine. So red wine,
Red
tama ba?
wine, red wine, because
Okay.
of the resveratrol component.
Sige nga. I mean, any red wine, pwede. I mean, I will incorporate that in my life now.
Yeah, if you have red wine, ideally yung organic red wine. Yeah, if you could find that. I'm sure there are some around. It has to be
Mm.
organic, ideally.
So, one glass a day, tama ba? Preferably?
1 to 2, 1 to 2.
One or two. Ayan. May excuse na, no? To, wine o'clock. Okay. Continue, Doc. Continue.
Again, there's what we call immunological theory behind aging. So as we age, basically our immune system begins to decline. It's called immunosenescence. That's why older folks are more prone to develop infections or tumors. So it's really important to fortify the immune system, especially during these times when we're involved or fighting against this pandemic.
Mm. Ano yung simple tips para we can fortify our body? Kasi nakakatakot kasi 'di ba yung virus is just out there. We can't see it. The only armor that we have is really to boost our immune system and syempre, face mask and face shield. So what are other tips can you share?
Yeah, the things that I recommend to help boost the immune system include what I call CDZ, which stands for C, vitamin D3, and zinc. Yeah, so vitamin C, again, is an antioxidant as well as antiviral in high doses. So you have to take ideally minimum of 1,000 up to 6,000 milligrams per day in divided doses. Side effects, some people have like bowel intolerance. They feel like madudumi sila or parang tinisikmura. That's because of
Mm-hmm.
the form of vitamin C, like yung ascorbic acid could cause that. Well, that's why some people have to take the buffered form or the alkaline form of vitamin C. And then, of course, there's D3, which ideally we should get from sun exposure. But if we're in a
Mm-hmm.
lockdown and people are inside their houses, it's hard to do that. So another source would be like the fish oils. I mean, fish. Sorry, fatty fish, like sardines, salmon. This is a
Mm-hmm.
good source of vitamin D. Cod liver oil is another good source. And then the last mineral or nutrient I mentioned is zinc. So zinc is the antiviral actually. It actually interferes with this RDRP, which is the enzyme which causes the virus to replicate within the cell. So at least these three. And if a person has or is symptomatic, I would recommend the addition of a bioflavonoid called quercetin. It's found in onions actually, but a lot of people hate onions. So they could actually just take the this nutrient called quercetin.
Mm.
Quercetin actually helps facilitate the entry of zinc into the cell. So if you have enough of these zinc in the cell, that would prevent the replication of the virus. So at least these four nutrients is a good thing to take, especially during this time.
Okay, so sa viewers natin, remember that ako walang problema. I take it already because last year pa lang, sinabi mo na yan sa akin, Doc, and I followed you talaga to a T. I take it
So
every day and thank you,
thank
thankfully naman. Okay? So, to our viewers also, follow Doc's advice. Actually, ang dami na nagko-comment, Doc. Ang dami na nating questions.
Sige. Uh, so we're getting the heads up that we need to do the Q&A na daw.
Sige, ang haba kasi ng kwentuhan namin ni Doc, but I
So nga,
hope people learn a thing or two also from our conversation. Sige, let's read through some of the comments.
sige.
Okay, this is from Wei Wei Ang. Is it true that over stress can cause aging? Too much stress.
Yeah, too much stress is not good. Acute stress may be good once in a while because we need this to basically improve our defenses, like mental defenses. But if stress happens in a chronic way, it could actually cause problems. When you have a chronic stress, it would cause your body to secrete a hormone called cortisol. People have some scientists have dubbed it as a death hormone. So if you have too much cortisol, it would actually cause a lot of problems in your body. It may cause your belly to get bigger. It
Yes,
could cause
belly fat, ano?
problems.
Stubborn.
Yeah,
Stubborn belly fat,
yeah,
tama? Yeah.
yeah. It could do that. It could cause blood sugar problems. It could actually suppress your immune system as well if you have too much of this stress hormone. So it's really important to manage stress properly. Like if you're in a lot of stress, you could go, you could manage it productively because some people sometimes how they manage stress is by eating a lot or shopping.
Mm.
Those are not, what, how do you call this? Hindi sila magandang way to manage stress,
To cope, ano?
cope with stress. Yeah.
So
So
what is a good way to cope?
yeah, things that you could do is like, for instance, deep breathing exercises, getting massages, spending time in nature. Some people do exercise, and then if
Mm.
those don't do much, then you could take adaptogens. These are nutrients that actually help with your adrenal function. Good examples of these include ginseng, rhodiola, ashwagandha. These are things that help your adrenals um,
Mm.
with
Yung
stress.
ginseng, talagang ano siya sa Chinese, since 'di ba I'm Phil-Chai, talagang very
Yeah,
ano siya, popular siya in the Chinese world,
yeah,
ginseng.
uh-huh.
Ay,
Very helpful.
sige. So, okay rin siya to maintain, like to drink ginseng once in a while, okay din.
Yeah, sometimes it's too stimulating for some people. So if you want something mild, you could do either rhodiola or ashwagandha. You can
Okay.
find this at certain health food stores. And for those who just want to take vitamins, they could take a B complex to help with stress.
All right. Noted, noted. Thank you. Thanks, Wei Wei. Okay, next is from Nico. Doc Joel, I experience back pains every once in a while. What causes it and what should I do about it holistically?
Yeah, so back pains could be a sign of stress too, but it could also be due to, let's say, too much stress on your muscles, especially in the lumbar area. So it's really important to do like some stretching exercises to help with back pain. And sitting all day is also not good. They say that sitting is the new smoking. So that's why in
Mm,
certain offices nowadays they have a desk in which people just stand. They won't sit because again it could cause a lot of problems if you're sitting all day. Besides
mm.
compressing on your lumbar vertebra, it could also cause yun, stiffness and other things. So
Yan talaga yung ano, no? Yeah, yan talaga yung modern life, ano, no? Yung negative na parang lagi tayong nakaupo, nasa computer.
exactly. So some people take medications, but I would recommend again maybe doing like yoga or stretching exercises, and they could also see try massage as well. And if the pain is persistent, they could actually see chiropractors or
All
acupuncture.
right.
There are a lot of ways to address this.
Yeah. Meron ng acupuncture sa J. Lopez, no?
Yeah, we do offer
I saw
acupuncture.
I saw you offer acupuncture. Okay.
Yeah, you should try it one of these days.
Yes, yes. Our next question is from Samuel Junior Ramos. How to grow old beautifully? Paano nga ba, Doc?
Yeah, well, you gotta take care of yourself. Basically, take care of the basics, and that would be diet. Go on an anti-inflammatory diet. And for some people, this would be a plant-based diet. But then there are some people who actually need meat, like people who have type O blood. If they go on a vegan diet, they actually everything sags. They look unhealthy. So you got to know your blood type. And if you could do a food intolerance test, that would be helpful as well.
Mm,
And of course, hydration. We don't pay much attention to how much water we drink, but hydration is really important. By the time we experience thirst, we're like 50% dehydrated already. So it's really important to pay attention to drinking enough fluids. Then, of
mm,
course, the usual exercise, because you actually secrete feel good hormones. These are what we call endorphins or enkephalins. So, this natural opioids would help if there's like pain in the body. So, that's why some form of exercise would actually help people who have chronic pain. Then, of course, resting, stress reduction, what else? Sun exposure, things that we sometimes take for granted. These are actually things that would help us age gracefully or beautifully.
mm. Yes, thank you, Samuel. Next is from Christina Gotauco. What's the difference between prebiotic and probiotic? A while ago, you mentioned probiotic.
Yeah, probiotics are actually the organisms that inhabit certain parts of the body, not only the gut. And the prebiotic is what actually feeds it. So it's something this probiotics feed on. So it's really important to take care of both.
So both. Parang
Both.
supplements both. Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. So you
Okay,
take
next.
probiotics, but you still have to eat properly, just to make sure that you're um, feeding this probiotics.
Okay.
Mm.
Next is from Ralph. Doc, what are your top three tips for people to stay naturally young? Tatlo lang. I'm sure ang daming tips, no? But just three.
Madam. Probably your mindset. That's the first thing. because our brains are like the supercomputer. Whatever you think, it will it will uh, tell your
Manifest?
body to manifest in your body. So if you think negatively, you produce negative chemicals or destructive chemicals. But if you think positive, it would lead to hormones that are healing, regenerating, or repairing your body. So mindset is really important. Kaya nga yung mga isip bata, sometimes
Sila
they,
yung ano 'no, ang ganda ng aura, 'di ba? Yung
yeah,
mga isip bata, correct, yung
yeah,
lolo na nagti-TikTok pa, yung alam mo yun, the aura is different, yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
So you have to be childlike, basically, not childish. Childlike,
Childlike, childlike.
childlike. Then second is again, pay attention to what you feed, put into your mouth, because ultimately it'll affect everything in your body. So
Mm,
what we eat, what we drink, even the air that we breathe would actually be important. Yeah.
mm,
And then probably third would be exercise. It's something that's free and you could do it anytime, anywhere. When you exercise, it actually increases the secretion of growth hormone by up to 400%. So growth
mm,
hormone is a hormone that we produce again, during childhood for growth and growth, basically. But for adults, especially um, those who are well into their older ages, what growth hormone does is that it helps in repair and regeneration. That's why even in Hollywood, back in the 1990s, growth hormone became so popular because it actually reverses some of the signs and symptoms associated with aging.
mm. So exercise then, exercise, positive mindset, and the second one, what was it?
Good diet.
Good diet. Okay, all right, got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So next question is from Patrick. How many hours of sleep is minimum to keep good skin condition?
Yeah, good question. Ideally, a minimum of 7.5 hours per evening. So during the process of sleep, we actually secrete hormones that are responsible for regeneration and repair. These are hormones such as melatonin, which is actually an antioxidant too. It penetrates the blood-brain barrier. So this is something that could prevent dementia or brain aging. So
Mm,
melatonin, then growth hormone, which I did mention earlier, is also responsible for regeneration and repair, not only of your joints, but for those who exercise a lot, but also for those who have like skin issues or other health problems. That's why it's really important to get enough sleep.
mm. Dok, ako kasi I take melatonin every night kasi because of
Yeah,
the pandemic, nagkaka-anxiety, nahihirapan ako matulog. So I take
yeah,
melatonin. Is that okay to regularly
yeah.
take
That's actually
melatonin?
really good. It's really good because melatonin is also an immune modulator, meaning it helps balance your immune system. It actually works on your innate as well as your adaptive immune systems. It helps increase your T cells, which is
Okay, good,
responsible
good.
for cell mediated immunity. So, yeah, that's
Mm,
a good thing to do. Actually, if you don't have sleep problems, you can take it as well because of its other benefits. And one of them is that
okay.
it also helps improve your immune system. The dosage from zero point 0.5 milligrams up to 20 milligrams per day.
Puwede rin. Okay lang, safe lang naman. Safe pa rin. Kasi I take 3 eh, 3 milligrams. Okay lang pala yun. Okay.
Right before I
Oo.
couldn't tolerate 3 milligrams. I get a headache the following day, but recently I was able to tolerate up to 10 milligrams.
Okay. Ang
Yeah,
sarap ng tulog nun after 'no? Sarap.
yeah.
Doc, I just wanna follow
Never-
up with the question of
yeah,
Patrick kasi sabi mo 'di ba 7.5 hours. Pero what if
yeah.
ano lang, for example 5 hours lang tapos binabawi yung 2 hours sa daytime. Is that okay?
It's okay, but better pa rin yung tulog sa gabi.
Full sleep ano?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right, next question. Do we have I think that's it, no?
That's it. Okay.
Wow, ang dami
Ayun.
actually ang daming comments sa Facebook natin. Yun. That
Oh, okay.
concludes it. Yay! What, yeah,
Yeah.
what an informative talk.
Thank you so much, Valerie, for hosting our talk for this evening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Doc Joel. Thank you to J. Lopez group and also to our viewers. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, this is just the first Q&A Wednesday with J. Lopez MD. Next Wednesday ulit, di ba, Doc?
Yeah. Actually, 2 Wednesdays from now, it'll be every other Wednesday.
Okay, every other Wednesday. So for the people watching, balik kayo ulit sa Facebook page ng J. Lopez MD for more informative talks.
Yeah. And by the way, I would like to invite everyone to check out our Facebook page at Dr. J Lopez MD, as well as our Instagram page. And of course, please check out Valerie's show on CNN, iHeart PH. Of course, her Facebook page, as well as an upcoming show on ANC, right?
Yes, so excited. This month, a new show. It's called Modern Tauke TV. I'll be interviewing successful Filipino Chinese businessmen. It will air on ANC this
Wonderful.
month. Yeah.
Great, great. So, by the way, for our next show, we'll be having some prizes. So please do invite your friends to watch our show in a couple of weeks. And
Yes.
I guess that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thanks again, Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc Joel. I'll see you sa clinic soon.
Yes,
Thank
see
you.
you. Have a good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.